The space that Yusuf Nurkic is operating in continues to be something that catches my eye and pops off of the film, especially stemming from yesterday's game against the Toronto Raptors. On the season now, Nurkic, when he's on the floor, the Suns are plus 5.3 per 100 possessions, and his on-off differential per 100 possessions is at plus 5.1. So that just speaks to the level of effectiveness that he's having on his team in a two-way manner. And looking specifically at how he's operating on the offensive side of the ball in this film session, we're going to be seeing a lot of action tandemizing him and Kevin Durant. And how those two are featured and how their synergy continues to evolve and how the dynamics between the two continue to evolve is really pushing the needle for this team. And additionally and independently of Durant, optimizing Yusuf Nurkic is optimizing the Suns' offense. The better they use him, the better their offense generally is going to be, and the closer they'll get to operating at the potential and ceiling that they have in terms of the layers and dynamics that they have compiled within their offense on this roster. So we're going to look at some of the offensive reps between Durant and Nurkic, but specifically through a lens of what's going on with Nurkic in those actions. And, yeah, just bringing some of the things that he's doing to the light. First rep here, we're going to see him initiating the delay action. And this is just, again, something that optimizing him, pulling the center away from the basket and allowing for him to do what he brings to the table best outside of his screening, which is play make. And he's able to not just play make, but discern between what makes sense and what he should go to next. So he sees that because of the timing of when which players are getting down court as they get into delay, it's going to be a Koji that's receiving the down screen from Devin Booker. Now, he can play off of these handoffs, Josh Okogie can, but that's not ideal, especially when you have Eric Gordon, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker on the floor. So Nurkic is going to wisely reject that action as you see them get into a rescreen, which was very smart from Josh Okogie. Nonetheless, Nurkic elects to go to the other side of the floor. We're going to see a backdoor cut on the reject here from Eric Gordon. Now, if he wants to make this pass, if he wanted to throw it behind the back, which he's more than capable of, that window in the middle of the floor is wide open for him to get it there. Nonetheless, it's early in the game, and it's Kevin Durant that he's about to give the ball to, so there's nothing wrong that's going to come out of making that wise decision. So as they flow into the handoff with Durant, you can see as the pace that he's moving at into this role, as he sees that, well, first of all, even before he feels the hand being on his hip, letting him know that his defender is going to be up to touch on the screen, obviously with Kevin Durant. It's always going to commit to the ball in every scenario. So because of that, he gets into a speed roll as you see him get into reverse pivot, making himself available, showing his numbers, and then kind of backpedaling into the roll. Not going too fast, obviously, because of the low help that's eventually going to be there. You don't want to get a charge called or anything like that. But just the pace at which he's going at is right for this setting in this context on offense. Gets into the catch, sees it, first of all, of course, with his man being up to touch at the screen, he doesn't have to worry about him necessarily on the catch. He's looking to see who exactly is it that's the low man. Once he sees that is Dennis Schroeder, the smallest player on the floor, he just turns and gets up right away. Keeps the ball high, as you can see, and then he gets into this quick layup, knowing that he has his backside shielding for his recovering defender, Jakob Poeltl, trying to come in for a late contest. And he's just far too late. He gets into an extended arm layup there, and that's a quick two from early. And it's all just him processing, again, what's going on around him, who's involved in actions, who to get the ball to, and how to play off of that advantage that they create. Durant automatically is holding two, as you can see there. Gets into the reverse pivot, into the speed roll, and that's a layup. And then next we're going to see him again, his screening, setting things up for him. His screening is, like I mentioned in the opening, outside of his playmaking, the most valuable thing he brings to this team. And we see his screening, in addition to that walking advantage that Kevin Durant is, really exacerbate things and open up opportunities for him. So we see they get into the initial screen. It's high up the floor because of the pressure that Scottie Barnes is applying. He ducks under, customarily what smart defenders would do. So as they flip and get into the rescreen, I'm pausing it here because look at the angle of this screen. I don't care who it is that's navigating this screen. When Nurkic gets into positioning like this, and he's a wide body, and in addition to being a wide body, he has his feet shoulder width apart. It's a point of emphasis from the referees this season to call screens that are when the legs of a screener are wider than their shoulders. His are perfectly in alignment with his shoulders, maybe even the slightest bit further away. Nonetheless, this is a legal screen, and he's set. And this angle is extremely friendly for Kevin Durant to get downhill on, which he's going to do. And then we see Nurkic off of that advantage, then taking advantage of his leverage. So he's already got the leverage underneath as he sets this screen for Durant to get downhill. Additionally, he takes the advantage that creates, keeps the leverage, and as he rolls downhill, look at what this is creating. A great opportunity on a pocket pass from Durant. As you see them get into the late switch, he keeps his man pinned to his hip and really to his backside even more. Opens up a friendly angle after making a friendly angle for Durant to come off the screen. A friendly angle for Durant to make this pass, as you can see on the still frame. Durant's more than capable of making that pass. Does so. And you see where it bounces up to? It's right into the advantage. You see all this pocket of space open underneath the basket in the paint. Durant gets it right there to him. He doesn't have to move. Just get it on the catch and then go straight up with it with the smaller Scotty Barnes on his backside. Not unlike the last play with Jakob Poeltl coming in on the last rip at the last second. And that's another layup from Nurkic. I talked about that tandem in the opening between Kevin Durant and Jusuf Nurkic. Durant has 21 assists to Jusuf Nurkic this season. 15 of those are at the rim. And that 21 assists to Nurkic from Durant are the most assists that he has to any teammate on the season so far. And then here, we talked about his screening. Look at how he nails Scotty Barnes on this screen here for Durant on wide action. Absolutely nails him, puts him way behind schedule. That's going to force the defense to commit even more in terms of trying to not just get into a late switch, but getting a true reaction out of the defense to where he's holding two to the ball. Late switches create an advantage, but two to the ball is the ultimate advantage. And that's ultimately what this is going to get from Nurkic's screen for Durant. Durant gets all the way to the block. Now he's going to miss this layup, but as we rewind it back, guess what? Because of the screen that Nurkic set and Scotty Barnes' desire to get back into the action and get a contest up to help Jakob Poeltl, as Durant goes downhill, nobody's accounting for Big Nurk as he smartly and astutely paces himself into play, positions himself perfectly for the rebound. He goes completely unboxed out. Again, all stemming from the screen that he set, and that's a wide open offensive rebound. Now he's got to go up with this a little bit quicker with the left hand. He invites the contest and a potential foul here. Nonetheless, he's able to get back into it and get a finish up. And then here we're going to see a little bit more of the same with Nurkic setting screens. The Suns are getting into their twirl action, which is a variation of stagger or double away. So we see the double screens here being set from Durant and Nurkic. We see Watanabe curl the initial screen, and now we're seeing Durant get top locked as he tries to work through the screen from Nurkic. Nurkic does, again, a great job setting a friendly angle screen so that he could peel himself off of being top locked from Scotty Barnes and get into a catch so they can get into action from there. And now, because of the screen, Durant's looking and he's rewarding this big man for the screen that he set to free him with a post touch here in the empty corner. And now you see how the space has been manipulated as they flow through action from double away or stagger action into a post touch in the empty corner for Nurkic from Durant. And then you're going to see customarily the Suns get into that split action, but we're not even looking at that at this point. We're just looking at Nurkic win his matchup, again, possession by possession. Gets the catch, and look at what he's doing with the possession. He's not just playing with the ball. He's not trying to look for somebody to pass to. He's taking advantage of what he feels like is a matchup that he should be able to win. And this is what you want to see from your big man, especially early in games to help set tones. He's just taking full advantage of the skills that he has and just beating his matchup. And then I love the plan to his feel and how he feels in terms of how he's being processed through with his touches and usage over the game. He's feeling good. He's getting a little flex in, and he's letting his teammates know that he's there. And you can look at also the reaction from the bench that this gets as he makes this move as Metu and Eubanks both stand up off the bench. And then here we're going to see just more of his usage being dynamic. So they get into their pitch as they go from elbow. And we see they pitch it to Nurkic here. They're setting it higher up on the floor this time. Now, typically here at this still frame, they will flow into a down screen here from Eric Gordon to screen for Devin Booker, and then he would come off of the handoff from Nurkic, also known as zoom action. Also, because it's playing off of a split a little bit, it's kind of like a split cut in a sense, a little variation of both. Nonetheless, we're going to watch Nurkic and his discernment and what makes him so unique as a playmaker and as a piece for this Suns team in general. So he sees this action here. This is a high shot quality that's going to come from this action between Devin Booker and Eric Gordon. He's also got on his right shoulder Kevin Durant in the corner with Scottie Barnes in the passing lane and slightly up the line. All of that, in addition to Durant kind of lifting up here, as we can see in the corner, and Scottie Barnes, you can see him being attentive and intentful in the passing lane. We're going to see him execute the perfect dribble at, and this is extremely fundamental, the perfect dribble at, and then that's going to invite the opportunity for Durant to get on this back door. So you see the one dribble, it's a dribble at with intent. This is a skill, this is a skill, this is a skill to have. A lot of big men don't have this to this extent. In addition to the passing, just the ability to execute in these handoffs and in these dribble at scenarios to create advantages. And we're going to see Nurkic tap into just that, something that he's elite at. And he's going to be able to not just get the reaction out of Scottie Barnes, playing off of his overzealous playing in the passing lanes. Going to give a hat tip to Durant on the cut, but the pass and the setup from Nurkic is what really executes everything and makes the job for Durant, one of the best scorers of all time, easy. One of the easiest buckets he's ever had in his career, especially in the half-court context. And looking at Nurkic in terms of his assisting to Durant, he has 26 assists to Durant this season. By far the most assists he has to any teammate in this season. And 21 of those have gone for 2 points, meaning that he's assisted Durant somewhere inside the three-point line. And zoom in even more, 11 of those assists, of those 21 two-point assists to Durant from Nurkic, have come at the rim. And a lot of those have come even more so with him just hitting them on backdoor passes like these right here. All just him playing off a field. And you can just see how their dynamics are meshing together as they get into that. And then here we're going to see Durant rejecting this screen here from Nurkic. And obviously that's going to come with a ton of gravity. As you can see, Pirtle was loaded up on the other side of the screen, obviously being up near the level to try to flatten out action. OG Anunoby now is on Kevin Durant, so he's getting beat on the reject. And look at all the attention that it garners. It's not just OG trying to get back into the play. It's not just Jakob Poeltl trying to cut off an angle. It's also the low man, Pascal Siakam. And this is why rejects are such a headache for a defense, because there's no help, and there's just a gaping hole for Kevin Durant to navigate to and get a paint touch off of. Now he's going to read this defense, get a quick skip or quick kick out to Josh Okogie, and that's going to allow for Okogie to play connector. But nonetheless, this is going to be, again, Yusuf Nurkic playing off of an advantage created from Kevin Durant, generating a wide-open three-point look topside. And I love that he took this without hesitation and knocked it down. Nurkic playing off the pop has so much value, especially with as many screens as he sets for Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and eventually Bradley Beal as well. Those three players are all going to often garner two to the ball, and if you can play off of the pop when someone's getting or holding the attention of multiple defenders, regardless of if it's a trap or if it's a soft hedge or even if it's just a general show and recover or something like that, having players holding two to the ball and having a pop to counter off of that versus a roll and being able to mix in both pops and rolls is really where Nurkic is going to be optimized within this offense. And here we're going to see him playing off of the pop again. This time it's going to be a little bit more of a direct one. As we can see, Durant recognizing that he's holding two, and this time it's going to be a show and recover. As you can see the show, he's going to recover on that pass from Durant. And this is a bit of Durant's dynamic that's coming from his days in Golden State. That pass off of initially holding a double team off generally being contained on the drive, the defender's going to typically come out of their defensive stance and relax for even a half second. Durant, and I mentioned his offensive movement patterns as a cutter, is going to understand this. He's going to get into this quick, and he's going to fake like he's going into chase or handback action with Nurkic, which is something the Suns do quite often. And A, because Nurkic is spaced, he just hit a three-pointer off the pop on the last possession. B, because it's Durant and all the gravity that comes with that, they're going to be a little overzealous in getting back and pulling gravity back towards Nurkic. Nurkic having the ball above the three-point line is going to pull the defense away from the paint, specifically Pirtle. That's going to leave the basket wide open. And they're so in rhythm and in sync with this. There's not a single hiccup in this read and react from these two at all. And he's going to hit Durant on this lob. And even if there was low help, it's Dennis Schroeder and Gary Trent Jr. Nurkic throwing this pass high is going to make this impossible for either one of those two guards to get to in terms of the location of it, with Durant being a 7-1 player. And this is, again, just great basketball with pace and tempo and read and react. And then here, we're going to see a little bit more of the same with Nurkic assisting Durant. They're going off a low, super low sideline out of bounds here. We're going to see Nurkic just get into the catch, and we're going to see Durant, again, playing off of the aggressive defense of the Toronto Raptors, specifically with Scottie Barnes here. Again, playing them high side in denial in the passing lane, and Nurkic understanding that, also pulling away Jakob Poeltl from the porch is going to enable Durant opportunity and access behind the defense going back door. He's going to get into just that. Another great pass from Nurkic, being patient, seeing it is there, waiting for it. Hits him on a perfect pass to burn the defense underneath yet again. And then on this rep, we're going to see a little bit more of Nurkic just being a presence. This one's not going to have anything to do with Durant specifically or anybody else. I just want to highlight something that he's been doing a lot over this winning streak, and especially over the last 4 games. And that's just competing on the glass. Doing little things to create advantages, put defenses in compromise, and keep the Suns in a position of dictating. And just generally playing with physical activity. Watch him on this right block, the block that's highest on the screen here, and how he works late in the clock. 4.8 seconds left, Kevin Durant's in isolation with OG Anunoby. And just look at Nurkic's work. This is just competing and ultimately getting himself in position for an offensive rebound should Durant miss, which he did here. And he doesn't get the chance to get the offensive rebound because we're going to see Jakob Poeltl ultimately fouling him, as we can see this shove in the back. Trying to get back in position. This is the level of competing that you just have to give on a possession-by-possession basis if you're Yusuf Nurkic. The Suns aren't tasking him with a ton of usage and things like that. They just need him to make the effort plays and nail the margins. And this is one example of him nailing the margins. Just winning an opportunity and then positioning for this offensive rebound, picking up a foul, and the Suns were going to score off of that on the next play. And then we've been talking about the offense heavy. I wanted to highlight one defensive rep because this was a very good play for him at a crucial juncture. It's in the clutch, and this is just a well-timed block here. And he actually had another one that was later in the game of a very similar variety where he's getting into 1- and 2-step contests at the basket. And I also had another rep where he didn't get a block on Scottie Barnes, but he deterred the shot and ultimately he missed just off of his rim protection. But these are the little things, again, that he has to just continue to nail on both sides of the floor. This is going to be him stepping up to help cut off a drive. And that drive is going to be accompanied by this 45 slot cut. This is something that Dwayne Wade was excellent at in his Miami Heat days. 45 cutting off of teammates' drives, where a typical defender is going to be looking to get nail help or some type of nail support. Durant catches onto it early but gets beat off of leverage. So Nurkic is stepping up for the drive initially. He has a changed course of attack because this pass ends up going to who's getting this 45 cut, this dive cut here, which is Pascal Siakam. Goes from loading up to contest on the drive from the middle to loading up to then contest on this 45 cut. And look at the rim protection. This is A++ elite level play defensively from Nurkic. And he showed as a template that this is something that he can do somewhat consistently on a game-by-game basis when he's locked in. He was locked in yesterday. And generally this game against the Toronto Raptors is serving as a template for what the Suns should expect to get from